So we are live now. Hey everybody, how's it going? I am Austin, and this is Chad Hawthorne of Onset Arms. Thank you guys for joining us on our live stream. We are going to talk today about firearms and some set safety associated with that. Chad here is Western Soul's armorer, or he's one half of the armorer team. So he is going to talk to us about what it is he does and sort of the process involved in doing like a Western shootout on film. That's kind of a different thing. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the process of being an armorer for this?
Yeah, well, sure. It's a Western, right? You guys all know that, and there are a couple of things you can't have a Western. You can't have a Western without, right?
Yeah.
And one of those is guns. Better or worse, it's part of the genre, right? It's part of the character. And so what our job, the armorer team, is to be able to provide those props so that the filmmakers get the shots they want and they can tell the story that they want to tell. There's also an element of drama and excitement that the audience is going to get from hearing guns go bang and seeing that. But primarily our job, aside from supplying the weapons, is to oversee safety, right? So what you see here, I don't know if you can see them, we've got a number of, some of the prop guns that we're going to be using in the film as we go out on location in Wyoming. Now these four guns here, these are all prop guns, right? So these will only shoot blanks. They were designed from the ground up to only ever shoot a blank round. And if you don't know what a blank round is, it's basically a bullet casing without the bullet. And it's crimped at the end, there's powder, it goes bang just like a real bullet. No bullet comes out. So what that gives the filmmaker is that gives the bang, it's going to give smoke. We've had these rounds made special so that you can get smoke out of it. Fun fact, modern weapons today don't use gunpowder, they use a propellant. And that propellant really doesn't create smoke in any volume. But in the 1880s, right, that was before the modern propellant. They used black powder. So when you see a Western, when you see that gun go off, you expect to see a big cloud of smoke. And so what we've done to make sure we're being true to life for this film is we've had those rounds special made.
Well, they also give you a realistic action on the camera too, right?
That's right. And you know, in addition to giving the filmmaker the scene they want, having a gun go bang in the actor's hand gives the actors something to react to. And that's a big part of getting the performance out of the talent that you need to tell the story. So it's a lot of fun. You know, in a lot of productions today, they don't use blanks. We're seeing blanks used fewer and fewer because it's much cheaper, safer, easier to film with, go bang, 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 and then you do CG and sound effects in post.
Yeah.
And that'll work, but as you guys know, this project is being filmed live, right? Live out on the plains in Wyoming, on a beautiful set. The performers are going to be acting this drama out live. There's no post.
Right.
So we've got to be as authentic as we can. So as an armorer, my partner Bill and I, what we're going to be doing primarily is, number one, making sure that the cast understands the safety elements with handling firearms. So what we're going to do, actually the first day on location, we're going to send them through a 4, maybe 3, probably 4, depending on how much time Austin gives us for the cast, workshop, right? So we're going to take them through Guns 101. Everything from handling a firearm, how they work, the dangers of a firearm, just as if they were attending a real firearm class, right? You want to get that foundation of knowledge so your cast is safe. Then we're going to transition into talking about, okay, how do we take that experience of knowledge and move that into movie guns? Because there's a common misconception out there that because this is a prop gun, that it's safe. I can't get hurt. It's a movie prop, right? I might be able to drop it on my foot. It's heavy, right? But I can't get hurt. Unfortunately, it happens more often than we like that actors have been hurt and killed, right? And some pretty notable ones as well. So our job on set, the whole reason we're there is to make sure that doesn't happen. These are blank guns. Let me show one to you. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clear it, make sure there's nothing in it. right? I'm confident it's clear. I'm going to hand it to Austin.
I'm the actor in this.
He's the actor in this scenario. So what's Austin going to do? He's going to clear it himself. He's not going to take my word for it. When the gun goes into his hands, even though it's a prop, he's responsible for making sure it's safe.
Now, when I have this, also, I'm supposed to be waving it around with my finger on the trigger, right?
Exactly.
I'm supposed to just stick it in there, and isn't that what I'm supposed to do?
No, that's not quite, right? So we'll make sure you attend our class. But notice his finger never really touched the trigger. When I handed it to him, it's what's called indexing it on the frame. That finger never touches the trigger. And this is true with real guns or movie guns until you are ready to pull the trigger, until you're ready to shoot.
Right.
You know what's at the other end of your barrel. Interesting thing about these guns, these particular guns that will have quite a presence in the film, like I said before, these were made for blanks. They will never shoot a real bullet. It's impossible. The barrels are plugged. It just cannot happen. But you still get all that smoke coming out of the gap right between the cylinder and the frame. Now that works great for background actors, right? That works great for the guy running and gunning or on a horse or shooting from the bar window or the saloon window. But there are times on a film set where this won't work. But we have to bring in a real firearm. Again, shooting blank rounds, but what we do need is to, for that key shot, we need those gases to exit the front of the gun.
Right.
So the stakes get a little higher because now we're dealing with real firearms on set. If you have a problem with that, don't ever watch Open Range, right? With Robert Duvall and Kevin Costner, they were using real Colt 1873s.
Yeah.
It's a standard in Hollywood, and that's why Army uses that. Right? You can't always get away with a blank gun. So, in addition to these, we're going to be bringing a number of real firearms to the set, but we're going to use all of the techniques, all of the caution, all of the precaution necessary. We're going to train the actors. We're going to make sure that even with the blank gun, you never point that gun right at a human being, even though it's fake. You know it's fake. I think there's a blank in there. Guys, if you watch movies all the time, you see actors point guns at other actors. I'm sorry, they're not actually pointing it.
Right.
They're usually cheating it.
Yeah.
10 to 20 degrees off, and the director will move the camera in such a way that it sells to the audience.
Right.
So we're going to employ all of those things. Yeah. Right? Make sure nobody's hurt. What I do want to tell Austin, he hasn't heard this yet. Right? He knows we're going to bring a handful of prop guns, but what I do want to tell Austin and all of you in the Facebook world, give you a taste of what we are going to bring to the set to up the production value and to up the realism. So we're going to have a Winchester Model 92 that was actually made in 1894. So it's going to be a real lever action, right?
Yeah.
Shooting what's called a 5-in-1 blank. So you get that big smoke, that big bang.
Yeah.
We're going to have a number of Colt 1873 single-action Armies built in. These were built in 1894 through 1894. We're going to have an 1866 brass flame Yellow Boy rifle, chambered in .45 Colt. So we're going to have a number for probably our key players. We're going to have a number of real authentic weapons. So if you guys love westerns, you want to see how it was really done, tune in because you're going to see the real deal. Okay? So a lot of these will be there as well.
That's awesome.
But we're going to have a good mix.
That's great.
So-
I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, it's going to be cool.
Let me give this back to you
Yeah.
now that our take is over.
All right.
So the armorer always takes the firearm back, and then he checks it. And
That's right. And I forgot to mention that, if you guys aren't familiar with the role of an armor on a film set, they don't often get credits even or a lot of press. But what their primary job is they will maintain custody of every firearm, whether it's made of rubber or it's the real thing. And they will control the ammunition, they will clear the muzzle, they will make sure everything is 100% safe, and they will be right there next to the talent. When the talent takes their mark and lights come up, camera speed, right, audio, everything's ready to go, the armorer is there to hand that weapon to the performer. Gets out of frame, right behind the camera. Bang, 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 cut. The armorer comes in, takes that weapon, clears it, reloads it if necessary. So we're always there, just off camera to make sure everything's safe.
it's like I mean, I imagine if you were doing something which, had like some big shootout and you've got guys with AKs or something, and it's like, oh, let's go to the crafty table, and then they've got this big rifle over their shoulder. It's like, that's probably a bad idea.
Yeah, and even in a production like Western Soul, it's going to get, we're going to have multiple shooters, right? They're going to be all over the set. So we are going to be strategically placed off camera so that, A, we're that last line of oversight. If we see something we don't like,
Right.
it's going to be interesting in a live performance, but we're going to do our best to make sure that nothing happens. As soon as we all cut, those actors stand there with the weapon. If there's a malfunction with the weapon, what does the actor do? Does he continue performing?
Yeah.
Really, no. We want that weapon pointed in a safe direction. Raise your hand. We can take it from you, hopefully, while we're not on our feet, and we'll switch it out.
Well, conceivably, and we haven't talked about this yet, so you guys are privy to this conversation the first time it's happening, but, we could even come up with some sort of system for, say we're here on our hero and his gun jams or something. If, we could come up with some form of, signal that says we have a problem, we can get the camera off of him while you clear it out of frame. And if it can't be done or whatever, maybe we can, I don't know, we can work something
And the
out.
actor goes bang, bang, bang.
Yeah.
Right? The show must go on, but it must go on safe.
Right,
So-
and that is a primary concern. That's to say that certainly once some situation crosses into the realm of unsafe, that's whenever you're given ultimate authority to do what needs to be done to solve the problem. So we'll try to get the show to go on, but certainly not at the expense of someone's safety. So.
And for all of you, friends of cast and crew that are going to be joining us in Wyoming, just know that we've got probably half of the first day dedicated to training the cast on how to do all this stuff safely on set. Not only will Bill and I be just off camera to make sure nothing happens, we're also going to teach the actors how to, hey, this is a whole different genre. This is 1880s, right? This is the Wild West. Even if some of the cast members are familiar with firearms and they learned at the gun range, downtown, they didn't learn this style. So we're going to have to teach them, the proper style for shooting single-action revolvers is realistically the way it was done in the old days. Right? There's no two-handed grips. There's no aiming. It's a totally different style. So we're going to make sure your cast is fluent.
Right. I mean, also, not to mention that, but even these are all single-action revolvers, and I mean, even somebody who's familiar with guns, if they haven't, trained with a single action, they don't know how. You know what I mean? Like, I know the first time I fired single action was, it was, it takes some getting used to. But yeah, it's not just gonna go bang every time you pull
It
the trigger.
does. Yeah, and for those of you who might be wondering, what do you mean single action? Well, that's as opposed to double action. Right? So a single action revolver, and again, this is a replica. This is a blank firing replica of a Colt 1873 single action army. Basically, what single action means is in order to make this gun go bang, I have to pull that hammer back. Bang, right? And then if I want to shoot again, I have to pull the hammer back. Okay? So if I'm going to use two hands, which they didn't, really, there was no time, that left hand is just to manipulate that hammer. You've all seen trick shooters, right? Bang, 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 fanning that gun. That's the reason they're doing it. They'll hold the trigger down and they'll just fan that hammer to make it go off. So
Right.
yeah, no double action, no full auto. This is old school gunslinger.
Right. Yeah. So it's something that it's still a really cool, style. Obviously, for those of you that really like westerns, you're used to seeing that kind of thing. One thing I want to talk about is, we have some people joining us here who, probably aren't actually aware of what it is we're talking about. So I'd like to sort of give a little briefing on Western Soul. Because this is a project that's coming up really soon, and I don't want you guys to miss it because it is really exciting. So, what we're working on, Western Soul, is a short Western film that takes place live, broadcasted to the internet during the solar eclipse that's happening on August 21st. Now, I'm sure every single person in this country, possibly the developed world, has heard about this eclipse. That's coming, and This will literally be streaming live while that's happening. This isn't something, oh, we're going to shoot it on August 21st and then we're going to post it later. You will be able to watch this while it's unfolding and be a part of that experience with us. And it basically it serves as a companion, in my opinion. What I envision are a lot of people who are somewhere where they can see the eclipse overhead. A lot of people are traveling into that path of totality. Even those who aren't still might have a decent view from their backyard, depending on where they are. They'll be able to have their phones out and watch our film while the eclipse is happening. I don't think it's, I mean, certainly it's like, oh yeah, look at that. You know, it's the timing of everything is something that's pretty relevant because we have basically the totality for any one geographic location is going to be approximately 2.5 minutes, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less. And our film is 12 minutes long. So we're starting before totality sets in our location. But people on the East Coast they're just going to be sitting waiting for the eclipse to start. So, they can pull out their phones, watch our film, and then, 20 minutes after the film's over, they might experience totality. So it's something that's sort of intended to be a companion to the excitement of the day. Tune in, watch this thing. By all means, if the eclipse is happening for you at the same time, watch the real thing. Our film will be online later. You can check it out then. But we're hoping that you guys can really tune in and enjoy it while it's going on, because it's part of the excitement, right? So that's kind of the project.
Did you mention it's free?
Oh, I did not mention it's free. It is free. So if you go to our Facebook page, which is just Western Soul, it's spelled S-O-L. If you look in the bottom of the screen right there, that's how you spell it. Western Soul, S-O-L. And that's not a play on words or an abbreviation or anything.
Latin for something.
Yeah, it is. It reminds me of Mystery Science Theater 3000. Satellite of Love was where that show took place. No, yeah. That's right. It's funny. Yeah, it's free. So if you go to our Facebook page, that's where the stream will be piped into when it goes live. So going based off Mountain Time, which is the time zone we will be in, the eclipse sets in right at 11:38 in the morning. We will go live at approximately 11:30. Probably start rolling credits around, our feed will probably be up around 11:25, give or take a few minutes. So, and again, that's Mountain Time, so do a conversion for your specific time zone. But yeah, free of charge. Just make sure you like our Facebook page so you don't miss it. If you like our page, when it goes live, you'll get a little notice on your phone that it's starting, and then you can tune in. So, yeah, so that's going on.
Most of the world's not anywhere near the region of totality, right? So this could be your only way to witness it in real time.
Exactly.
It's never been done before.
Yeah, nothing quite like this. Timing theatrical style performance with celestial events such as this has never been done before. So I'm just checking in here to see if any of you guys have been asking us some questions. So so that I did very well. I see a comment, but it doesn't. It's not very visible. Anyway, we're going to wrap up this live stream. Was there any other things you wanted to cover? We talked about safety.
We talked about safety. We talked about some of the props. The training the cast is going to get. It's going to be loud. We're going to have to figure out a good way to hide earplugs. Right? If they're loud, full load blanks with smoke.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm forgetting something that my partner Bill is going to remind me of, but it's escaping me.
Well,
maybe we can come back when I'm doing that.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, stay tuned, guys. The days leading up to it, we'll be sharing some behind-the-scenes stuff as we do rehearsals and stuff. We'll take a few photos and or video as time allows and post that online.
Just one more thing. So Western Soul has a Facebook page, as you guys are aware, an Instagram page, and a Twitter page. Please, if you wouldn't mind, find both of those, Instagram and Twitter. It's Western Soul _film, and please share it, retweet, let people know that this really cool project.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up. That's actually a big deal, is building our audience. So you guys are our audience. Thank you for being that. Help us spread the word, because we got to get the word out there so people know what's happening. So for sure, help us out by sharing all that stuff and telling your friends why you think it's an awesome idea. And then last thing, this would not be a proper live stream if I didn't gently and kindly point you over to our Indiegogo page. We are raising some funds just to help smooth things over in the funding department. So head on over there and just donate a little bit of money if you can. It's no big deal. It is a free stream, so don't feel like you have to. It's definitely not a requirement. That's my soft pitch. I don't want to push it too hard. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Thank you, Chad.
Yeah, you bet.